This is the B2B blame cycle. I'm going to show you what it is and how to get out of it because the vast majority of you watching this video are stuck in the B2B blame cycle. I can guarantee that. So we have the vast majority of you watching this are going to be in either marketing or you'll be a C-suite, a CEO or whatever it may be. So if you're in marketing, you're usually set with KPIs of getting more leads. Now I specifically wrote more qualified leads here as well, okay, just to make your job a little easier. So in order for you to get more qualified leads, you need to run more marketing campaigns. And in order to run more successful marketing campaigns, you need some budget for that. So the person who decides whether you get that budget or not is typically the C-suite, okay? That might be your CMO, it might be your CFO, it could even be your CEO, okay? So in order for them to give you budget for that, they say, well, yeah, once we get more revenue, we can do that, okay? So then they go, well, how do we get more revenue? Well, sales needs to be closing more sales, okay? It needs to be closing more deals, okay? And then sales say, well, I can only close more deals if people in marketing are giving me more qualified leads so I can get more qualified calls, okay? So then sales have an issue with marketing not getting qualified leads. Marketing has an issue because they have no budget, so they have to get approval and budget approval from the C-suites. They want more revenue. In order to get more revenue, they're blaming sales for not closing more deals. This just goes round and around and around, okay? So how the hell do you break out of this? Because this is where I would say more than 90% of B2B companies are in, okay? Especially the bigger that you get, the bigger that your organization is. When you have a marketing team and when you have a sales team, this is where it gets even worse, okay? Because there's just an absolute, it's just a big ball of chaos. Sales, and look, I'm just going to be blunt and honest here. Sales typically hates marketing. Marketing typically hates sales because they don't understand each other. They don't understand what's going on. Marketing say, but sales just sit there all day. All they have to do is just go on the phones. Sales will just sit there and say, marketing don't do anything. Just push a button and their campaign is launched. Most people have no idea what's going on in either of these people's worlds and how hard they work. And that's a lot where this blame cycle comes in as well. Same with people who are in marketing. They say, oh, well, the C-suite, all they do is just sit in their cozy offices all day. Like they don't actually do anything. They're not even in the office most of the time. But again, they don't understand what first of all, these people are doing behind the scenes. And secondly, everything they've done in the last few decades to get to that point either, okay? Nobody understands anybody else's situation and nobody understands the day-to-day activities that are involved in each person as well, okay? That's another reason where this blame cycle comes from. So anyway, a bit of a tangent there. How the hell do we get out of it, okay? So the only way to get out of this is you have to start here. Because in order to get more qualified calls, you can only do that by getting more qualified leads, okay? In order to get more revenue, again, you can only do that by getting more qualified leads so that more qualified calls happen, okay? That's the only way to break out of this. Now, if you think of another way, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But we've gone over this like a lot of times with different companies as well. And this is what we tend to see makes the most sense to most companies. So this is where we're going to go with. So the only way you can get out of this is by getting more qualified leads, okay? Now, let's take the assumption you don't have a marketing budget at all, okay? So the only thing that you do have in that particular case, if you don't have any money to spend, you don't have any budget, what you do have, and the only thing that you have is time. And I'm going to actually put another one in here as well. I'm going to put energy, okay? Because the only things that we ever have at any really one moment in time is time, energy, and money, okay? Money, we don't have, okay? So we can absolutely cross that out. So we only have time and energy. That's absolutely horrible handwriting, but we'll continue on anyway. So if you have more time, and again, let's just assume that, actually, I'll take energy out. Let's just assume that you have a natural energy pattern throughout the day as well, okay? So realistically, at that stage then, what you do have is time, okay? Now, if you say, oh, well, I don't have time because I'm working on this campaign or I'm doing that or I'm doing this or that might be, well, what I would actually advise you to do at that stage is do an audit of your time and what you're actually doing. Because if it's not leading you to get more qualified leads and you are in marketing, then you're focusing your time on something where it absolutely should not be spent either as well, okay? Now, if you've been told to do that by these people up here, don't be afraid to go back to them and say, look, you want more revenue because that's what everybody in C-suite wants, okay? You're not going to be wrong if you say that. So if you go back to them and say, look, you want more revenue, you've got me doing this, that can't get us to our goal. I'd love to help the team and get us to our goal. So here's what I propose is that I set aside some time to do X, Y, and Z, okay? Now I'm going to show you what those X, Y, and Z's are as well, okay? Now, because you don't have any budget approval, I would stay away from the likes of outbound, okay? Because realistically, to do outbound at scale, which is the only way I believe that it can work, is you're going to have tools for that, such as Instantly. Look, and these tools are cheap enough, but I'm taking the assumption that you have no budget whatsoever here, okay? So let's say you don't have the budget for tools like Instantly, any sending tools. You don't have the tools to buy different domains. You don't have the tools to set up different, the budget to set up different domains. You don't have the budget to set up different email accounts within those domains. You just don't have that, okay? So we also can't go with paid ads because, well, it's obviously not going to work straight away from the term paid ads, okay? Because again, we've no money in this particular case with no budget. So the only thing that we can do is inbound, okay? So what I would highly, highly recommend that you do, and this is going to work, in my opinion, this inbound works way better than outbound or than paid ads if you do it correctly, and especially over time, okay? It's so incredibly powerful, and so many companies just do not realize this, okay? So by having no budget, trust me, it can actually be a blessing in disguise, okay? So the only thing really that you can focus on is, where will I write this? Actually, let's write it in the middle in big black marker, because this is going to be your savior here, okay? It's going to be SEO. SEO is going to be your savior because you don't actually need any money to do SEO correctly. Now, look, don't get me wrong. If you are using tools to see what keywords people are looking up, yes, that helps you a bit. If you're using tools to see what keywords you should be injecting into your pages when you're optimizing them, 100% helps, okay? But you can do it without this. I think the likes of Ahrefs, I think they have a free keyword generator, so you can actually even see those kind of keywords. Now, look, obviously it's not as good as the paid version, but it's just enough to give you a bit of a springboard. I think it even tells you how many people search for that per month as well, and in what particular country. So even the free version of that is very, very helpful. Again, this is only the assumption you have no budget, excuse me, whatsoever, okay? So in regards to SEO, if you don't have that, excuse me again, and the only thing that you have is time, then realistically, and to do this properly, for you to learn how to do even just the basics of SEO, honestly, you could probably do that in, I would say, a week if you give yourself an hour a day. And again, I'm saying an hour a day because I don't want to take the assumption that you're not doing anything and that you are busy, okay? But in this case, I'm saying busy because it's under the assumption you're doing things that aren't going to lead to more revenue for the company, and it's just things that are not really, sometimes not even marketing related. But again, let's just assume you only have an hour a day. So we're doing Monday through Friday, an hour a day, so we have 5 hours in the week, okay? So again, let's just say you've taken those 5 hours to look at different resources online, whether it's through Ahrefs, SEMrush, through people on YouTube who are very good at what they do. Now, here's the thing to be careful about. If you're looking at how to do SEO, and this is really important, if you take nothing else from this video, this is what you need to understand. If you're going to teach yourself how to do this through different blogs or videos, whatever it might be, you need to make sure it's specifically for B2B SEO, okay? The vast majority of teachings that are out there, whether it's blogs, whether it's videos, doesn't matter, even courses, trainings, whatever it might be, they are not geared towards B2B. B2B SEO is a whole other ballgame, okay? The vast majority of the trainings that are out there, they're geared towards local businesses, your chiropractors, dentists, cafes, or to e-commerce, okay? So they sell physical products, okay? To find actually really good resources on B2B SEO, very difficult. So make sure if you're looking at how to do SEO, you're looking at how to do B2B SEO, and the pages you land on, that they are specifically for B2B as well, okay? That's already going to put you miles ahead of the competition, okay? So when you have that done correctly, and let's say for the first week that you are trying to figure out how it's done, what you should do, and in the first week you figure out that you need to have, again, all the basics. You need to have proper URL slugs, you need to have your headings, you need to have your keyword in your different places throughout the page, you need to have images with your alt tags and all of this sort of stuff as well, okay? So even just by having all of that knowledge in the first week, you move on to the next week and you're optimizing your page. Now, most people take the assumption you start with your homepage. You absolutely do not. Your homepage is the very last page you ever want to optimize on Google. I'm going to give you another free way to figure out what you need to do, okay? So again, you've looked up how to do B2B SEO specifically, okay? You've taken in that knowledge. So then your next step is to look at the competitors, okay? Or if you are looking up different keywords on, again, the free Ahrefs tool, which we can leave links for in the description below, then what I would highly recommend is once you've looked at those keywords and you say, oh yeah, that would be a good keyword to go after, do a Google search for that keyword, which is free, okay? Just do a Google search for that keyword and have a look at the people who appear in the top 10, which is essentially page one, okay? What's showing up in the AI overview? What's showing up on the top 10 results, okay? Are they going to people's homepages? More than likely they're not if you're targeting the right keywords as well, okay? What are those particular pages, those particular dedicated landing pages? What are they like on the competitors' websites? We need a page like that. Now, I'm absolutely not saying copy that particular page, but I'm saying you can draw inspiration from it, saying that, well, they've got, they talk about this and they talk about that, and we have that as well. So we can talk about that too, but we can word it in a way that's better than them. Okay, you have to be a bit clever with this as well. So that is essentially what I would do for the second week. So first week you're learning SEO. Second week you're kind of implementing it for the first time, and I would take the whole week, maybe even 2 weeks for that, because again, the first time that you do this, it's going to take you a little longer. But the more that you do that, you'll be able to get to a stage where each of those weeks you can have another page, another page, another page. Okay, so let's just take the assumption that of the 52 weeks that are in a year, that for 4 of them you're off, so you've really realistically got 48 weeks. Let's say 47, 48 weeks. So if you can optimize pretty much, let's say 48 pages in a year, and if they're optimized correctly, okay, they continue to stay at the top of the search results and to show up in not only Google, but also Bing and also ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude and Gemini and all these sort of things as well, okay, if you're doing it all correctly. So over time, that gets more people on your website. And again, depending on the keywords you've used, they should be more qualified people. And again, something that's free that you can implement in most cases is essentially a form on your website that weeds out the bad people who would not be qualified. So the people who go to sales, they're only qualified. Okay, so again, you're making their job easier. Now, however, I will actually throw in a bit of a caveat here. And yes, this is a bit of a tangent. Sales may then complain to you, I was getting, let's say 8 calls per day. Okay, we were doing 8 calls per day. And now you've implemented this marketing hack that you've gone on about so much. Now I'm only getting 4 calls a day. How do you call that a better way of doing business? Okay, again, because they just have this assumption and this hate towards marketing. That's just how it is. Okay, so they need to realize that they were doing 8 calls and if they were lucky, converting 1. Okay, now they're doing 4 calls and converting 2. Okay, so they've got less calls that they have to do per day, and they're converting more people and easily as well. Okay, so the overall output that we're getting from all of this is that sales has a lot more time on their hands, so they can do more follow-ups, okay, which again, the money's in the follow-ups, and they can take more calls and close more people, which means we have more revenue, which means that we can have marketing approval budgets because we've proven what we're able to do. And if we had a budget, we could do even more. So now it's not a blame cycle. Now this goes from the blame cycle to the success cycle, okay? Because these people up at the top, the decision makers, they want more revenue, okay? Then sales, they need more qualified calls, which they're starting to get, okay? And marketing wants more qualified leads, okay? So now we can approach the C-suite who want more revenue to say, we've been able to get you more revenue by doing this free, and it took a lot of time, a lot of effort because we had no resources to our availability. So now that we've proven ourselves, imagine how well this could go if we did have budgeting approval. So if they take even 10% of what was made in those 48 weeks of the leads you got generated from SEO, then obviously that means that you can put that into something else, whether that is paid ads, whether it is outreach, whether it is whatever, okay? Now, here's the other side of this as well, okay? After those 48 weeks, that doesn't disappear, okay? For the next year, you get more leads constantly coming in from SEO, okay? So you're still going to have those qualified leads coming in all the time, but now you're able to experiment with other things that are along here, like I said, either LinkedIn, whether it's outreach, whether it's paid ads, whether even retargeting, because we've already got people coming to the website. So even if it's just retargeting, we get more people coming in, okay? So we're able to multiply those compounding results every single time with every new campaign that we run. And we're able to go back to the C-suites to say, here's the proof, here's what we did. We'd like to get you even more leads, leading to even more revenue, okay? Because again, that's if you're trying to get approval from these people, don't say we're going to get more leads. They don't care about leads, they care about revenue, okay? These people don't care about leads, they care about qualified sales calls that are on their calendar, okay? So again, you have to understand what every person wants. And if you can, try and have a bit of an understanding of what those people are doing with their day as well. And then again, trust me, once this starts to kick in, everybody is a lot happier, morale is a lot higher, and everything is just much better than it was at this moment in time. And this is starting from zero, as in with zero money, okay? So let's take the assumption this is zero money available for budget for marketing, zero leads that you have at the moment, nothing in your pipeline. And again, I'm not saying that SEO works in a day, because it absolutely does not. But if you do this consistently over time, you keep optimizing a page a week or whatever it may be, or a page even if you can only do one every month, okay? And again, do those important pages. And what I would highly recommend, and I'll finish with this particular tip as well, is don't just be putting out random blog articles, okay? If you're going to be putting out kind of a blog article kind of thing, which is usually more so top of funnel, it needs to be something that's very, very valuable to that particular person. Make sure there's a lead magnet in there, or at least a call to action to book a demo or a call, whatever it might be. But also, and this is the more important part, focus on the middle of funnel pages that are going to be on your website, okay? So that could be anything that's under your industries tab, okay? The different industries that we like or that we are able to help. The reason being is because when people are searching for a solution that's going to help them online, everyone's very much me, what's in it for me, okay? So again, if it is construction people looking for accounting software, they're not going to search accounting software. They're going to search accounting software for construction companies, or construction accounting software, okay? Or construction industry accounting software, all those different variations of keywords as well, okay? So again, if it's more relevant to them and you have a dedicated page about that, not only will they, first of all, it's much easier to rank for something like that because it's a bit more niche. Look, the reality is that, less people are looking for that, but the people who are looking for it are way more qualified. So don't be worried about getting way more traffic to your website. That's not the goal, okay? The goal is to get more qualified traffic to your website, which is going to be a small little chunk, okay? So absolutely do not worry about the website traffic. It means absolutely nothing, okay? If you're going after the more niche pages and niche keywords, think about it from the customer's perspective. They have searched something very specific that they have an issue with, they have a problem with, they are seeking a solution for. Construction accounting software, okay? They see your page, all about construction accounting software, okay? They go onto your page, they go through your page, and if it's optimized correctly, resonates with them, so they are more likely to take the next step, which is either download a lead magnet or to fill out a form to get a call back from sales or whatever it is, okay? But that's how you're going to get those more qualified people there. The middle of funnel pages on your website are way more important. Same as even if you have not only like an industries drop down on your website, but if you have like a features drop down, because somebody's looking for, let's say, this is probably a bad example because I have no idea about the world of construction or what they would want in accounting software. So let's say it is contractors. Let's say construction people work with contractors, okay? So they have different people who are electricians and plumbers and whatever it might be as well, okay? It could be contractors or third party, what's the best word to use? See, this is a bad example because I would have to look it up online. And again, if you use the free version of Ahrefs, you'll be able to see this. It could just be, again, like contractor payments or contractor invoices or whatever it might be as well, okay? Because again, that might be the term that person searches for the feature that they're looking for as well, okay? Now again, confirm that by looking it up in the likes of Ahrefs. Whatever features you offer in your accounting software, have dedicated pages about them, because people aren't just looking for accounting software overall. Like, don't get me wrong, they are, but they're very broad. They are way early in their customer journey. If someone is looking for a very specific feature, they know exactly what they want. And if they're looking for a particular industry, they know exactly what they're looking for as well, okay? So yes, it might be less big traffic, but traffic is absolutely not what you're aiming for when it comes to SEO. Everybody gets that wrong. You need to flip it on your head. And it's the very qualified, which is smaller, very qualified, smaller amount of traffic going to your website. Because again, that breaks this, the blame cycle essentially, okay? So look, that is your get out of the jail free card. It's not going to fix everything overnight, but it will fix things gradually. Again, if you give yourself 3 months, 6 months, a year, you'll be able to get that up and off the ground a lot faster, okay? By the way, if you do want a really fast way of doing this, there was a video that we made recently. I think it was called something like the nine ways to get new leads in B2B. I gave a specific tip that I've never seen the industry talk about, but the particular tip in the SEO side of things is how you can get your pages ranked a lot faster. Typically, it takes 3 to 6 months for most people. The quickest we've ever gotten this done was in 16 hours, okay? But if you want to figure out what that tip is to really speed up this process, make sure you check out that video. Now, if you don't want to have any of this in particular, especially in regards to SEO, you can check out the first link in the description. If there's anything in particular that you don't want a video about, make sure you leave it in the comments below, and I'll make sure I can make a video about that at some point in the future. So hopefully you got a lot of value from that. Hopefully you already understand the blame cycle, and you've probably never heard of it called that before, but you understand this is very real, and hopefully this will get you out of the blame cycle as well, okay? So hopefully you got some value from that video, and we'll see you in the next one.